Welcome to 10-5, the official podcast of the OPP Association. I am one of the co-hosts. My name is Scott Mills.
And I'm Emily Brown. We are the Strategic Communications Coordinators for the OPP Association and your hosts for the 10-5 podcast, the official podcast of the OPP Association. The OPP Association is the sole bargaining agent for the close to 10,000 members of the Ontario Provincial Police in Canada. Our members are our focus and our strength, and we aim to provide important information to our members and the public about matters that affect policing in the province of Ontario.
Well, thanks, Emily. And today we are very honored to host two very important guests. We have OPP Commissioner Thomas Carrique, and we have the OPP Association President, John Cerasolo. And we're going to do a 2023 Year in Review podcast episode. And welcome to you both.
Thank you very much, Scott and Emily. I'm very pleased to be here with John.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Scott and Emily.
Well, thank you both for being here and taking the time to be with us. So we have a number of topics to cover that we'd like to discuss today, and we're going to start by diving into a difficult topic, being line of duty deaths. As you both are well aware, last December, Provincial Constable Greg Pierce-Challa was shot and killed. Then Sergeant Eric Mueller was shot and killed, followed by Detective Constable Stephen Tourangeau, who tragically died in a traffic collision. Commissioner, can you share with us some thoughts on these tragic losses?
Well, thank you, Emily. First, I obviously would like to express my condolences to our officers' families, colleagues, and friends. It has been an absolutely heartbreaking year seeing the devastating loss of three of our officers who were in the performance of their duties. It is absolutely heartbreaking. At the same time, my heart gets filled as I watch the organization lean in and lift everybody up and hold the families close and try to get through this as best as we can together, to see our members volunteering to take shifts in the various detachments to cover off shortages and allow members to grieve as they ought to be has been truly inspiring to see the esprit de corps across the organization. And I'm very hopeful that with the passing of Bill C-48, that it will provide some greater protection to our officers by ensuring repeat violent offenders remain where they belong, and that's in custody.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Bill C-48 along with your thoughts there. We're going to get into a little bit that later. John, over to you on this tragic year for the OPP and for law enforcement in general.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. It's an unprecedented year, not only just for the OPP, but for policing right across the province and the nation. But yeah, once again, the commissioner said it well, but the condolences to the family, all colleagues and friends that have had to deal with these three tragedies within our organization. And, with that, we've seen some, I hate to say this, but we're getting really good at it because we've had 4 over the last 3 years. And, never want to see that number, increase. But it is one of the risks that comes with policing. But like the commissioner alluded to with Bill C-48, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later with the collaboration of that. It's about, I think our role as the association is to look after the health and safety of our members and ensure the employer is looking after the health and safety of our members. And I know the commissioner was very vocal after Greg's death. And it precipitated a collaboration that I think that, and we'll get into that we've never seen. But like I said, an unprecedented number, the commissioner has more years on than I do, but in my 28 and a half years, within the OPP, I've never experienced that over a 12-month period. And, even to go to the memorials, be it the Ontario Police Memorial in May and the Canadian Police Memorial in September, just to be there and experience, like we had 11 names go up on the wall in 1 year for the Canadian Police Memorial. It was overwhelming, I think, for everyone there. A lot of the family were there. We were there with them, with the OPP, supporting the families. And of course, with these memorials, we always have survivors of law enforcement there as well, other widows, other families there to memorialize their loved ones. And, very overwhelming. It's been a very emotional year for us. And, we want to move forward. And like with Bill C-48, that's definitely a move in the right direction. And I'll leave it till when we talk about Bill C-48.
Well, John, let's just talk about it right now. We're, hot off the press last Friday, the House of Commons, they passed, they voted and put this bail reform in. I know the commissioner was very vocal about this after Greg's death. And I've heard you describe it as unprecedented for the OPP commissioner to be this vocal on something. And we, as OPPA, we partnered with the Canadian Police Association, the Police Association of Ontario, the Toronto Police Association, doing joint press releases and stuff like that. And, we've now got a law that's passed. Can you maybe just elaborate on that Bill C-48? What does this mean for people that maybe haven't been following it as closely as you have, John?
But it was on the coattails of the commissioner. And I'm going to start with that first. The commissioner got out in front of this right from day one, being very vocal about it. And we as an association, we saw that we had to be involved as well. We all have a role here, be it the commissioner and the chiefs of police, as well as, the various associations representing their members. But the commissioner got out in front of this right off the bat. And I got to say, and I've said this before to him, and that helped the organization when he showed his support and got on camera. That was unprecedented in my years on the job. Did not see that very often, that the OPP would get out in front of a camera right away. So kudos to the commissioner on that. And that led to, a collaboration between the chiefs and the associations that I haven't seen in many years. There is collaboration, but not to this extent. And when you had everyone come to the table, inclusive of other associations, be it the police service boards, being at the table, we were heard. And it set something into motion that, as of last Wednesday, I believe, we do have amendments in that, the bill was passed. And I'm going to say in record time, I know the commissioner can probably speak to it as well. We had the public safety minister in last week as well on Wednesday to speak to the new bill, and very minor amendments to the bill, which I think are good amendments. When a serious violent offender is either released or kept in custody, the justice of the peace has to articulate in writing to either his release or the person being held in custody, which I think it should be done. It holds accountability. And that's what I think one of our goals in all this was to hold people accountable to ensure the public is safe, as well as, the police in general are safe.
I'm just going to jump in there, John. Commissioner, kudos to you for leading this. Every time I hear the word bail reform, I think of Greg Perchala. What does this mean? I know there's like a federal component in the law, and then there's like provincial component, and I know you've been involved in both. What does this mean for maybe the police officers out there on the street, for the community at large?
Thanks, Scott, and thank you to you and both John for your kind comments. And John is absolutely right. This was a true collaboration, and I was proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with John as we worked with the Canadian Police Association, the Police Association of Ontario, the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police, the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police, and it was John's leadership from an association standpoint that ensured that we remained in sync, we remained focused, and he's absolutely right. It's unprecedented. CACP first put forward a resolution in 2008 for these very same changes, which is quite some time ago. And think of the lives that could have been saved had government acted upon that original 2008 resolution. But we're here now. And I think we're going to be in a safer place as a result, Scott. And to actually answer your question, it provides the exact things that we required as it relates to the administration of the bail process. It provides a definition of what a repeat violent offender is. It provides criteria that a justice or judge must consider prior to releasing the offender from custody that gives the appropriate weight to public safety, which includes officer safety, and that's done under reverse onus provisions. So we have established what we think are the technical requirements to give the appropriate guidance to the JPs in justice, and there's also a piece in there where it will be reviewed after 5 years. So we'll have the opportunity to assess it and determine whether it's had the desired outcome. For me, the desired outcome is that our officers feel as though their safety is valued. They actually feel safer as a result, and we can prevent crimes from happening at the hands of those offenders that are responsible for the most violent and dangerous crimes that are committed in our communities across this country.
Well, we'll shift gears here a little bit. Now, Commissioner, we hear positive things about your leadership all the time on a regular basis. Of course, there's a flip side to that. We've heard on occasion that there's challenges with morale, staffing shortages, aging equipment. Can you tell us what's being done to address some of these concerns?
Well, first of all, Emily, thank you very much for the positive feedback. That means the world to me. The only reason I do what I do is in the service to our members. So if it is appreciated from time to time, that's the energy that keeps me going. I truly do believe that morale is a shared responsibility. I've got a good portion of that responsibility, as does the entire leadership team, to make sure that our members feel as though they're respected, they're valued, they're supported, they have access to the necessary equipment and training to do their jobs. And that has been a challenge for us with the period of COVID and coming out of COVID with supply and demand issues. Vehicles remain a priority for us. In the upcoming year in 2024, we will replace approximately 720 vehicles, the majority of which will be frontline vehicles, with our new service delivery model, which is intended to address the staffing shortages that we have been experienced for almost 3 decades now. Service delivery model at full implementation will be close to 1,000 officers added to field operations. And with that comes the necessary vehicles. There'll be 46 added next year for service delivery alone, not to mention specialty vehicles for the areas that rely upon them, like an armored response vehicle, like our snowmobiles, our ATVs, our motorcycles. Those are all things that we're looking to make sure that we're paying attention to, and that our people have the necessary tools to do their job, and we've got the right people in the right places. And we know that staffing is not something we can address overnight. That's why the service delivery model, as you know, is a 7-year implementation plan. But again, in 24-25, we'll be adding approximately 136 additional officers to the front line through service delivery model. And that's over and above the 136 that are added in 23-24 at 5 locations that we have piloted the service delivery model. We're calling them assessment locations. We'll take the lessons learned from that and apply it as we continue to rebuild the front line right across the province.
Well, thanks, Commissioner, for that. John, over to you on these topics. What are your thoughts as we go into 2024 on overall morale, staffing, equipment, anything else you want to say?
You know what, with regards to staffing, when we're short-staffed, it has a direct effect on morale. And we're starting to see consistent classes over 100. We've had some classes of 135. We're going to start seeing classes of 105 in the 4 cohorts going to OPC from the 3, which will be helpful. It'll be helpful to the whole province for filling the holes. But with respect to the morale piece, when you're short-staffed, it gets tougher and tougher when you're working at a bare minimum, let's just say. And we do have detachments that are at a low availability rate, across across their area. We try to address those issues through our staffing forms that we do regularly within the OPPA. And that gives us an opportunity to at least let management know. Of course, they know as well, but, it's coming to the table, and it's that collaboration and discussing those shortages on how best we, attract or maybe put more resources to a certain detachment for that period. The other thing is what the commissioner spoke to was the service delivery model. And that was another collaboration between the association and the OPP, where we were at the table as well. And I think at the end of the day, the product that came from that addressed, current issues with regards to staffing, be it, training issues, which, they all have an effect on staffing at a detachment when you have to put people at training, send them for training, because we're across a vast geography here. We don't have training at every detachment. They have to go to central areas to train. And that causes shortages as well. And that service delivery model, brings it all together. And from that point, we're going to see increased staffing, like the commissioner said. It's a 7-year plan. We'd like it if it was shorter, to get those resources out there and help the staffing issue that we have out there. The other thing that we're going into a contract, and I know that we may speak to that a little bit later here. But one of the things that also helps morale when your members are properly compensated for the work that they're doing. And I can tell you right now, within the province at the end of 2022 into 2023, currently we're sitting 29th in the province for compensation amongst our fellow police services. And that's something that we really want to address at the upcoming bargaining sessions that we're going to have in the very near future. As far as equipment, I think that that has helped the organization. Like, we have the best equipment out there. Over my 28 and a half years, I've seen, the equipment that we have now from the old boots that we had that used to, and I'm from up north and patrolled up north my whole career, where, the boots would crack, the old patrol boots would crack when it was like minus 40 degrees. And now the equipment that we have, just from boots to jackets to the rest of our equipment, our use of force, I think that from a health and safety perspective, I think it gives the officers a lot of confidence out there when they're out on the road with having great quality equipment as well. I know we have some hiccups from COVID and supply chain issues. But I think the organization, we bring up those issues and they're doing their best to address those issues in a timely manner and get the equipment out to the members.
Well, thanks for that, John. And, discussing new equipment, it's kind of a great way to segue into what we wanted to address next. And that's emerging technologies within the OPP. And I was wondering, Commissioner, if you can comment on some of the new technologies the OPP has been looking at and what might be up and coming. And I know that was a hot topic at the OPPA AGM when you were up on the hot seat there. So I was wondering if you could discuss this.
Absolutely, Scott. We have made leaps and bounds as it relates to technology over the past year. We successfully installed in-car camera and automated license plate readers in 1,400 vehicles across the province, and we will be maintaining that platform as we move forward. We're looking forward into 2024 when we will start deploying body-worn cameras across the rest of the province. As you know, they have been deployed in Haldeman Detachment procurement and in East Region, but we will be commencing with the rest of the province very early in 2024. We're just wrapping up a procurement process that will allow us to start to roll out that piece of technology early in the new year. Along with that will be a personally issued smartphone to every officer that supports both the body-worn camera and the other technologies that we're moving towards, including digital notes. We won't see that available right across the province in 2024. That won't be available till early 2025, but there's lots of work to be done throughout the calendar year in 2024. We also will see the new radio system in Southwest Zone, which is Q2 of 2024, and also in what's been labeled the Southeast Zone. And I think further to that, there's one piece of technology that I'm really excited about, and that's the bail compliance dashboard, which takes every single offender in the province that is out on conditions and makes it available in the front seat of a police car, regardless where the offender has been charged or where they live, which will greatly enhance not only officer safety, so we know who we're dealing with, but it also allow us to engage in targeted enforcement as well. And we will see that completely loaded up with all of the partner police services across the province in early 2024, available now with data from Toronto, Durham, and OPP, but that's going to expand to be province-wide early next year. And then once we've completely uploaded the entire province, we've got a number of other national partners that have asked to contribute to the bail compliance dashboard. So exciting times as it relates to technology. We're going to continue to push the envelope as best as we can, and really appreciate the input and feedback we receive from the end users. Please keep that coming, because we need to have our members driving technology, what they need, what they can use, as opposed to technology driving what they're going to receive. So please keep the feedback coming.
Thanks, Commissioner. It's exciting to hear that the OPP is really jumping on board with planning for policing for tomorrow, I guess we can say that. And John, over to you. Comment on any technology advancements in regards to the OPPA, exciting news, any challenges?
Well, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to follow up on some of the comments the commissioner made on the technology advancements in the OPP. Being an older senior officer now, with change always comes a little bit of angst. And I know with the new technology that's out there, body-worn cameras, in-car cameras, the MPS, digital notebooks, I always keep stressing, it takes time for members to get really comfortable with the equipment and the new technology. Even though it's coming in, it is neat, it's necessary. It will be helpful. Like the cameras alone will assist us with some of the, frivolous complaints that officers get out on the road. But at the same time, officers have to be trained properly on that equipment and know, with the new technology, comes a more accountability as well. And I think that has to be reiterated in a lot of the training. We do get a lot of good feedback on all the new technology. Sometimes, though, the training is very quick out there, and just want to make sure that everyone has the proper training and they know their accountability pieces with all the new technology as well. Because it does become stressful as you get older, not being used to, all the gadgets that are out there, like the new cell phones and things like that. We all have a tough time sometimes with new technology. So, and I just want to stress, as far as the OPPA, we do have a new website. And I as I travel through the province and attend branch meetings, I just want to reiterate to everyone to just get logged on to our website. There is a lot of information there from a member services perspective that the OPP covers off, be it, contract negotiations, labor relations, legal, our benefits department and what they do for the membership. A lot of the death notifications that from retired members and things like that. We tend to still be involved with members that have retired as well and look after their insurances as well and their pensions. That's another big key thing. So if everyone gets logged on, there is a lot of information, a lot of resources on our website that will assist the membership and answer a lot of questions. So I know we'll talk about some benefit items shortly, but there's so much social media out there, and I see it. There's a lot of misinformation out there. But if people would just get logged on to the website and just go through the various folders that are on the website, it's pretty easy to use now. Every installment that we do with a new website gets easier and easier to use, even for an old guy like me. So,
well, thanks for that, John. Next, we're going to shift gears and chat about healthy workplaces and mental health. Recently, we had the opportunity to have a great conversation with Lynn Boucher on the podcast, where she was talking about warning signs, things to watch out for regarding officer suicide. A difficult conversation to be sure, but a very good information coming out of that. We know that you've been supportive of mental health initiatives, Commissioner, recently making the news for Canada's new 988 crisis line. What is the status of the Healthy Workplace Team initiative with psychological coverage throughout the province for our members? And on the operational side, will this new 988 number help reduce the call for service volume moving forward?
Thanks, Emily. I do hope that this new 988 number will have a positive impact on reducing our workload as it relates to mental health calls. We did implement the crisis call diversion program a number of years ago, and most recently just awarded a new contract to service provider to sustain that services. But it has resulted in 30% of all mental health calls being diverted without having to dispatch a frontline officer, which is an enormous success in my books. As it relates to the Healthy Workplace Team, as you know, it's been in constant growth for the last 3 to 4 years. We've recently undertaken a complete review of the program. You're going to see a pivot from trying to have up to 2 psychologists in each region, which was ultimately our goal. We're just not able to attract and retain that number of psychologists. There aren't enough out there to provide us with the services that we need. And we've seen the capacity of our clinicians build over the last couple of years. We currently have 18 clinicians deployed across the province. We're moving to 26, which will put 4 mental health clinicians in each region. And then HSD and GHQ will have 3 clinicians available to assist our members. So they work alongside, obviously, our care navigators. And we couldn't do any of this effectively without the leadership of the OPPA. And again, I've said it many times before, but I'd like to reemphasize the OPPA has been the gold standard as it relates to advocating for the mental health and wellness of our members, and the Encompass program has never existed in any other police service that I know of in North America. And our members having the opportunity for a no wrong door approach, they can reach out to a Compass Healthy Workplace Team anywhere they're able, willing, and have the necessary trust to turn. We're hoping that they find the support that they need.
Oh, thanks for that, Commissioner. I think you summed it up pretty well. If you're an OPP or a family member of an OPP, whether you're retired or you're a volunteer auxiliary, serving frontline member, a communicator, whatever your position is, there's help out there and if needed. And I commend both you, Commissioner, and John, as the president of the OPPA, for all the ongoing efforts in that regard.
Yeah, I just want to add there, Scott, the key messaging there is to provide as many resources as we can for the membership. And I know the Commissioner supports many other resources that are out there as well. And so do we as the association. What may work for one member may not work for another member. So we recommend whatever resource works for the members. I always put it this way. I like to provide a trough of resources for the membership. And we've seen the Commissioner participate and support through being on various boards. There's other resources out there as well. And we welcome all those resources as well. But I can say, from his organ, like the OPP, as well as the OPPA, we have come up with resources that really support the membership. And that is our goal. Our goal was to support the membership. And the other piece in all this is, to get rid of that stigma that's been in policing for many, many years. And you know what? I'm very proud to be involved in this from the perspective of the association, but kudos to the organization as well, to the OPP, the leaders in the OPP. And I look forward, to whatever resources that we continue with. We are leading the way. That is the one thing that I'm proud of and can speak proudly of on behalf of the OPP and the OPPA, that we are leaders when it comes to mental health.
Well, I agree, John, and thanks to you both. It's kind of interesting, the next question we've got up here about staffing, because I think the whole mental health and staffing thing goes hand in hand. And Commissioner, can you comment on the staffing levels? I know you touched on it before. We're still collecting shortage data regularly. I know there's more recruiting coming up. There's 4 cohorts per year now at OPC. I was just recently talking to some guy that was trying to get into the RCMP, and I was saying, come to the OPP. What's a turnaround with that? We were just talking about this, John and I, before you came on. And if municipalities can't fill all the spots at the Ontario Police College with the additional cohorts, can the OPP maybe fill those training spots? Because we're very short out there. And I know you're doing all you can do, but I was wondering if, just basically in a nutshell, comment on staffing levels.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Lots packed in there, and please do encourage anyone that would be applying to any other police service to come to the best police service here at the OPP. Everybody's a recruiter, Scott. That's a great example of how best that we can fill the vacancies that we have. And John absolutely nailed it in his earlier comments about how closely connected our staffing levels are to the morale in the organization. And we have been exceeding our targets throughout the last at least 4 intakes at the Ontario Police College. And you've already mentioned that we are moving from 3 intakes to 4 a year, which will help us in regards to not being so congested in our classes. It'll create a better learning environment for our newest officers. It'll mean that we'll have up to 105 per class. We're still looking to do between 400 and 500 hires every year for the foreseeable future. Our target is 105 for the recruit classes, as John has mentioned, and up to 48 for our experienced officer classes. We've recently stood up the ability to apply online, which we're hoping will be a greater attraction for interested candidates. And we have just launched some new branding through uniform recruiting, continue to pay close attention to our presence in colleges and universities and connections to sports teams, being involved in community. And I truly do believe the key to recruiting is if our people feel valued and appreciated and they support the organization, then we're going to attract people who are interested in working here. So the key is having people that are happy with their employer, and that's the best way we can attract additional members. As we mentioned earlier, it is a longer term plan. Not only do we not have the capacity to hire any more than we are, there's no capacity at OPC to train them, and the number of candidates are simply not there. As it relates to additional spots at OPC, Scott, if an organization was unable to fill a spot and it was offered to us, we would absolutely take that on. However, I know that we have been given priority. We are guaranteed our spots, and other police services are scrambling to get spots at OPC. And in cases of many services across the province, they're only getting half of what they need, which is not the case for us. So we're going to continue to keep our foot on the gas and fill as many spots as we possibly can of new hires and experienced officers.
John, I have a question for you, switching gears here. Our members have been working without a contract now for about a year, And we know that you and the bargaining team have been working diligently in the background, maybe more than people are aware. So can you give us and the membership an update on where the bargaining is at moving into 2024?
All right, so I'm going to start with a disclaimer first. At the time of this recording, we're not in bargaining. We're preparing for bargaining. So just in case, I don't know when this is going to be issued, but we are anticipating, that we will be at the table sometime in December to bargain two things. One is our benefits transfer agreement to continue those discussions and our collective agreement. I can tell you right now, and I alluded to it at first, compensation, we are 29th in the province right now. And as president of the OPP Association, that's unacceptable. We cannot be 29th in the province when we are the largest police service in Ontario. So I don't think it's a secret. And in this current situation that we're in right now with staffing, it's a very competitive process. And we have to be competitive. And I know everyone that comes over to the OPP, be it 28 and a half years ago to even now, right? There's a legacy there. The OPP holds a lot of integrity. A lot of our members that come to the OPP, they just want to be OPP officers because there's a legacy there. We're well respected in the policing profession. And I even know within associations, we're well respected. And I like to say that, we're second to none when it comes to serving our members. So we're looking at dates in December as well as January, not confirmed at this time, but we are very confident that we will be at the table having those initial discussions. Yes, we've been without a contract since December of 2022, and we're looking forward to getting the negotiations moving and getting through and ensuring that our members are properly compensated for the job that they do. And that we look out for all of our members, be it active, retired, uniformed, civilian, and just ensure that we're providing the best environment for our membership.
Thanks, John. I know that's a very hot topic with our members is the bargaining. So thanks for the update. And just for the record, we're recording this on December 5th. 2023, and it's planned for release on Friday, December 22nd, to give everybody some context about what John's saying there. So it's a live issue at the moment. And I also have a question for you, John, about benefits. We know that Canada Life had a few hiccups this year with volume that really had nothing to do with the OPP or the OPPA, and things seem to be getting a bit better on that front. We also hear from time to time from members that our benefits are not that great. And I know you feel strongly about the fact that the OPP Association and the OPP have some of the best benefits for our members there are. And I think that's a big thing that needs to be understood by somebody considering a job here with the OPP. Can you maybe touch on some of the your thoughts on the benefits?
Well, thanks, Scott, for the question. Yeah, so I am pretty passionate about it since I've led the benefits for quite a while now. Being on the board for the last 8 years, it's been my portfolio for the last 5. But I can tell you, yes, there were some hiccups this year with Canada Life. A lot of the manual claims were delayed, predeterminations were delayed. We had a lot of complaints for our members that they were on hold for hours on end. Because we self-administer our benefit, we have a direct link to Canada Life through Target Benefits when it comes to appeals and complaints. So what we did this year is we started hearing a lot more complaints it was happening more and more. So what we did is we had a meeting with the vice president. I think it was public affairs, they call it, and membership services within Canada Life. We had 2 of their executive come and see us right at OPPA head office in Barrie. We had those discussions, and basically we told them this cannot continue to happen. And as a result, we got a VIP line for our membership that they could call directly. And we've been assured by the end of December that the backlog of these manual claims as well as predeterminations, that backup will not exist anymore, or it will be very, very minimal, to say the least. So that's one very good thing that we have. Many other police services do not self-administer. There may be only one other police association that does that in Ontario. I'm not sure nationally, but there are very few amongst police associations. But I can tell you, very passionate about our benefits. I hear things like we lost benefits for life. Well, we never lost benefits for life. We have benefits for life for our active members and members that retire. As of January 1st, 2018, any new member that comes onto the OPP, the requirement to get benefits for life is 20 years, and there's the copay option that they pay 50%. Before we didn't pay a cent for it, but, we had to look at the sustainability of our benefits plan into the future. And although there's a cost to these members when they retire, they have ample opportunity to prepare for that when they do retire in 30 years. Currently, we only have a handful of people, less than a handful of people that are co-paying for their benefits, but it's benefits for life. Not many police services offer benefits after 65, so we still have benefits for life. With respect to a couple other of our benefits, like our psychological, we have unlimited psychology benefits for our membership and their dependents as well. We are working on psychotherapy coverage because that's not covered currently under our plan. We have coverage for psychologists, social workers that have a master's degree, but I can say we are the front runners with the psychological benefit across the province. We also have travel insurance for our retired members and current members. So you could go on a trip out of country beyond 30 days and you're covered up to 6 months away from the province with respect to travel insurance. And if you're a relatively healthy person, it still comes at a cost when you're away from the province for the country for over 30 days. And we've had, we've been self-administering now since 2009. So we have seen enhancements. If you're comparing an apple to an apple, it's very difficult when you're talking about almost 16,000 members that are in our plan. So just to put it in perspective, for every $100 of an enhancement is close to $1.6 million if it's claimed. So that is a potential risk to the overall plan. So we have to balance our claims to the funding that we get for our benefits plan. I can tell you, since my involvement and even boards before that, there's never been a concession on individual benefits in our program. We have never given up a benefit for another benefit to enhance another benefit. The only thing is the copay that had to be implemented as it was being implemented across the province for all OPS as well. But since we self-administered, we were able to delay it a year and prepare for our recruits for that new provision for benefits for life. We've seen many good things in addition to our benefits. We've also had insurance enhancements as well to our program. And you know what? It's all on our website. I'm not going to go into it today because it's a long list. But we have seen enhancements in dental, enhancements in vision, enhancements with laser surgery, enhancements with supplementary hospital room caps. That's all increased. It's also increased out of country supplementary hospital room caps as well. I can go on and on and on about it, but we are always comparing ourselves to everyone across the nation. And our last analysis in 2022, when we were talking benefits, and we had, it's never an apple to an apple because you have very small forces compared to very large police force like ourselves. But we rank very, very high when it comes to our benefits and what we provide to our members.
That's great. Thank you, John. We've covered a lot of ground this morning so far. So let's lighten things up a little bit. As Scott mentioned, we're recording this on December the 5th. When you're listening to this, we're going to be 3 days away from Christmas. So technically, we're going into the holiday season right now. So can each of you share some words about the holidays coming up and moving into 2024? Commissioner, we'll start out with you.
Thanks very much, Emily. I am planning to celebrate Christmas with my family and hoping, being a family that balances shift work and call-outs, that we will get one day to do that together. And I'm hoping that all of our members will be able to celebrate the holidays in whatever form or fashion they choose to with their families and friends. And I wish everybody all the best for the new year. And probably most importantly, I can't let this year close without thanking all of our members for everything that they do each and every day across this province.
Well, thank you. John, same question.
Yeah, you know what? As president of the association, I'm on the road a lot and away from home, and I always look forward to the holidays to be home, and it usually involves what we call, the old timers here up north, the Christmas Jamboree, which is, hockey related. So my kids are well entwined playing hockey, baseball, football. So we'll be doing that over the holidays and spending most of our time with my elderly parents as well, which I always cherish having time with them as they're 88 and 84 and celebrating Christmas in the traditional Roman Catholic way. And you're asking for the number one priority wish. You know what? Ultimately, we serve the members of the OPP. We continue to just look after their health and safety, and we just want to make it the best experience for our membership overall. And just ensuring that our members are well respected and appreciated for everything that they do. We all know in the policing profession, it's a high stress job. Our members miss, like the commissioner said, we try to balance, but you're always going to miss, some events, because with this job, nothing is guaranteed. And, when we can show appreciation to our members, serve our members with the greatest respect, I think it goes a long way for the membership. And we'll continue to do that as a board, all our staff at head office that continually, day in and day out, look after the members and the membership. I always say this to our members: don't let it fester. You know what? There's always a way to work through your branch and the association head office with issues. We're not here to not deal with issues. We'll try our best to resolve issues and ensure that fairness is applied to everyone, and that, like I said earlier, that they're appreciated and respected. And I know the OPP that does the same thing and applies the same test to a lot of the issues that we deal with. And I thank the commissioner and his team and other leaders in the OPP that I continually have discussions with over issues. There's always a common goal to resolve issues. Some of them we have to take, to certain levels, and that's the way it is. But I think, we're always here to help our members and move things along.
Well, thanks, John. Sounds to me your number one wish is collaboration, and that sums up for the best health and well-being of our members. And Commissioner, over to you for your number one wish and priority for 2024.
Thanks very much, Scott. My number one wish for 2024 would be that our members are safe, in good health, and feel respected and valued. And I know that's kind of a three-part one wish, but I think all of those parts are important to actually deliver on what my wish would be. And I see that it is very consistent with John, and I would like to thank John and the entire OPPA executive for all the efforts they put into representing our members. They truly do care about the best interest of our members. They work very hard to provide the best quality of service, and I look forward to ongoing collaboration that continues to do just that. So thanks very much, Scott.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, President John Cerasolo of the OPPA. You've both been very candid here with us and sharing your thoughts. I know Emily and I appreciate that, and I'm sure anybody listening out there will appreciate it as well. It's a pleasure to work alongside both of you in our roles here, and all the best to both of you and your families for the holidays, and a happy New Year to both of you.
Thank you. Likewise to everyone here, Scott, Emily, and John.
Yep. Happy holidays to everyone and happy New Year. And Commissioner, once again, I just want to thank you for your leadership for the organization. I believe this is your 5th year. Is this your 5th year? I believe it's your 5th year. You're going into your 5th year, April, right?
Getting pretty close. Yes, sir.
Getting pretty close. But I got to say, it's been a pleasure working with you. And I know that sometimes we'll agree to disagree. And there's that mutual respect because, you have a job to do and I have a job to do. But at the same time, collaboration and compromise is something that's not new to us. And we're always looking for ways to better the environment, the working conditions, and the attitude in the organization. And I kudos to you. We are moving in a positive direction.
Well, thank you, John, and likewise, I really see it as a partnership, and when we are truly focused on the best interest of our members and through them, our communities, we can accomplish a great deal. And I could not do this job, I could not fulfill my responsibilities without your collaboration and you representing our members and holding me to account and looking at the best way to move forward under all sets of circumstances. So thank you for everything you do.
Well, thank you both for being here. We really, really appreciate it. And happy holidays and happy New Year from Scott and I and everyone at the OPPA. This will be our last podcast for 2023, and it's been a pleasure. You've been listening to OPP Commissioner Thomas Curry and OPPA President John Cerasolo here on the 10-5 podcast, the official podcast of the OPP Association. A new episode drops every other Friday. We look forward to 2024 and sharing more important and informative discussions with you. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the 10-5 podcast on the platform of your choice. If you have a topic or a suggestion, please email us at communications@oppa.ca. Until next time, thank you for listening and stay safe.